Hello everyone, this is Leo Jubilee from Boca Raton, Florida with today's translation of Ricardo Melo's Drop of Inspiration, and the theme is extremely important. Do you live for God or for man? So let's get started. Hello my dear friends, good morning, a very good morning to you as always, beginning another Drop of Inspiration with great attitude. Always nice to feel that we have another day with light and peace, and hope the inspiration for your heart and for your life. May you feel more and more connected every day, tuned to the goodness of God, and may this kindness cherish you in the most difficult or easier times of your life, whatever you are going through right now. Maybe that will help you to choose what's right for you and keep your faith on the prayer and self-discovery as well. So, my friends, today I want to talk to you about an extremely important subject for our spiritual growth. And the question to start this topic discussion is basically, do you work for God or do you work for man? So, when you make a choice in your life, do you make based on what is you getting a recognition for man on earth, a material recognition maybe, or you just focus on your inner growth and looking forward to an eternity and to align yourself with any divine purposes? This is such a serious question. A lot of people have lost their nights and nights of sleep trying to answer this question. And having this insight is not simple. But many times we ask serious questions to God, and vary from person to person. But basically, some of them are like, I'm on the right track, or do I educate my children well? What I'm doing to my child is right. Did I make the right choice moving to this city instead of in the other city that you may have family on it? Or even engaging in spiritual work. Did I make the right choice coming from a center A to a center B, or from a church A to a church B? Whatever you follow, do you question yourself that you're making the right choice? So often, doubt is so common in the spiritual journey here on earth because the choices we are making. So doubt is very natural because we actually discovering ourselves. Sometimes we have a feeling, but we want a confirmation of it. We want the feeling to be materialized. So we are usually resizing ourselves spiritually as time goes by. So it's kind of useless to look for uncertainties. The spiritual journey is full of conflicts for sure. Of course, as far as we have a new level of awareness and a new learning, we end up with a conflict because we just compare the previous knowledge with the new one. All right, so we always must overcome the comfort zone. We have to face some fears the fears that create illusions, and they always cause discomfort. So many times we feel weak and confused because just the new scare us. All right, so do you think it was easy for Chico to accept his purpose when Emmanuel brought it to him? Even the books, the psychography books that had never been written before in the history of mankind. Imagine that, like is people are gonna believe what I'm doing, or what is it that I'm doing? All right, so even for Maria herself. Let's go back in time and think that the proposal of her being a mother of such a being with the magnitude of Jesus, or even Joseph, to embrace his new family in the context of the Palestine at the time. Do you think it was easy for any missionary or master that went from Asia to Japan to China or any part of the world just to live against the current status quo, whether you bring in something new that nobody have seen before, or even if the purpose of this is simplicity, love, and detachment and giving? Even today, if we think about it, we live in a world that is extremely materialistic and faces all the trends the same way. Of course, it's not easy, right? So, my friends, I always remember a speech from Mother Teresa, and for me, it's the basis of what we're discussing. So basically, the speech said, you can do as much as possible for humanity, and you always find out, even so, nothing is enough. So what do we take from that, right? You can be the best to others, but they still find a way to complain that you're not doing everything you could. And you know what's interesting is that goes with a series of questions. In the end, you find out the most important thing, and you realize that it's not between the person that you're helping and yourself. It's between you and your God. You did for God. If you had an intention behind the thought, you're doing for man. Oh, I'm going to help because his father knows people that can introduce it to me or something like that. Or if you have a thought of a thought, that's how we explain. Usually easy to understand. If you have the thought, do it because it's doing what God wants you to do. And if you have a second thought, basically, that means there is intention behind, then you're doing for men or you're doing for yourself. Does that make sense? So even for our children, often we have to say no because we can't give them everything they want, right? So you're trying to be a proper parent, and what you get from them is like, I do not like you anymore, Dad. You're not giving what I want. So maybe if this sadness hits your heart, but not just giving what they want, you feel okay because you know you're doing the right thing. That is exactly what we call here spiritual expansion, right? So even in moments of forgiveness, overcoming people and in our family that we trust, close friends that never turn their back on you, it's extremely important. And I hope this never happens to you, but sometimes it does. So they turn their back on us because they do not understand the path we are choosing. All right, so they cannot see. It's like they have a lenses between their face and what we're doing, and they don't get it. All right, even if the path is noble or it's worthy, and perhaps they have no intention to understand as well. Sometimes they just don't want to. Maybe they don't want to help. They're afraid that you're going to ask for help with your cause, and they're not ready for it. All right. So, but remember one thing: if you are working for God, you have all the support you need always. And in this, we don't need to go very far to explain. So even Chico Xavier in the mid 1950s, he faced an extremely a serious problem with his family. And that affected a lot of his self-esteem. Basically, he had a nephew that worked with him since he was a kid. And so his nephew was basically the feeling of a son he had for this nephew. So he told everyone there was a lie, that he was copying all the books from previous books. And that was announced to the media, newspapers and magazines, and that was like a bomb on his head. And then we had Divaldo Franco shortly after. Same thing, had a problem, made him lose 40 pounds because of the amount of lies and things that were said about him. So if we go back in history, look at Jesus. He was betrayed. It was not his disciple next to him that betrayed him. One of the 12 whom he loved very much, who was with him and still did not understand this message. So my friends, do you know what I mean? Do you understand the message? So we are beams of light, beginning with Christ himself, who often was misunderstood for people who were close, who know them, who knew them. So what do you expect? You expect you to be different, more illuminated? If you do expect that, it's just feeding your ego, and the illusion will take place, right? Because we live in a day today that life is what you choose, and you can align with divine purposes if you wish to. All right, it's your free will. Every step you take makes you a simpler and happier person. So just make sure that every choice helps humanity, and that will make you feel better and free from your ego. All right, so every choice of mine, for example, brings me peace, regardless of having to support other people or not. Honestly, I do what I do because I want to do it, and I really don't care if anybody else likes or not. All right, so if your heart brings peace to you and you become a person with more compassion, more love, make sure that it's a sign that you are on the right track. All right, feel it. On the other hand, when you're making choices for men, you know it, you feel it. You feel it that you're not doing from your heart. You feel that you're doing something in detriment to your expansion of your spirit. That's only making you working backwards, basically. So the drop of inspiration today invites you to live for God. So you make certain choices that bring you peace, regardless or not if somebody else is liking or people that are close to you understand or not. And remember, often the biggest challenges, oddly enough, you will not find in someone that you do not know. They come from people that are next to you, like happened with Jesus, like happened with many masters. So it's not out of their despite, because they cannot sometimes see, so they don't see what you're seeing. So that's why it creates doubt, and then they end up betraying you or not understanding what you do. So what did Jesus teach us? A good tree does not bear bad fruit, and a bad tree cannot bear good fruit, right? So if the fruits around you are sweet, they're healthy, but not for you, for humanity as a whole, it's a sign that this tree is very good. All right, so very simple. It's not made for you, it's made for the world. But remember, we are here to grow spiritually and to get closer to God. Because of the Father, of course, it's always close to us. Is it? Is it or not? What do you think? So give some thought and always make sure that you're doing the right choices. They're just going towards the divine light and not towards man, not towards someone. All right? So light and peace for you. May you have a blessed day full of energy for you and your family. Remember to have the gospel as daily source of reflections, because it's not what we say here is we try to impose or anything. It's important that you reflect and you understand the concept and the between the lines of every message. Okay, so remember to worship the gospel in your home. Have some precious hours to dedicate it to humanity or some volunteer in your region. There's always non-profit organizations that will make a difference and make a difference around you. So may the divine light inspire you, protect you, proclaim you, and call you be better every day. See you soon, my friends, with light and peace. See you very soon. And remember, we must all, of course, work for God always.